You are listening to Framing the Future podcast, presented by the Architectural Authority magazine.
I took it upon myself to do something very unique because I think when we were doing precedent studies, the precedent that I chose was Zaha Hadid's
Mm.
Olympic aquatic center in London.
Yes.
So I looked at it and it looks just like either an arena or like just a sports spectacle.
That's a beautiful.
And just overall, I just have to emphasize this, that when I design, or what really inspires me in terms of like my favorite kind of architecture, I mean, again, I love sports facilities, but when I design, I look at two things that I focus in my whole design intent. It's something that has a centralized organization and radial circulation.
This episode is sponsored by the Stones and More Group, your go-to destination for premium surfaces and a leading wholesale distributor with over 2 decades providing top-quality porcelain, ceramic, slabs, mosaics, panels, and building materials, crafted to transform any space. To learn more, visit our website at mosaics.com and explore our full range of premium products.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Framing the Future podcast. I'm your host, Ana Paula Leal, and today we have a truly inspiring guest, Ephraim James. He graduated in architecture this year from Florida International University, completing a remarkable journey of resilience and determination that spanned a decade. His story is one of perseverance through challenges, showcasing his passion and unwavering commitment to his dreams. Ephraim is not just a designer, but also a talented artist with a deep love for sports, particularly basketball. This year, he combined his passions in a unique way by winning a design competition for a basketball court created specifically for a homeless shelter, a powerful statement to his belief in using design to make a meaningful impact. Thank you, Ephraim. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
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 I'm very grateful to have you here in
Likewise.
our podcast, Framing the Future. I think your story, we had the opportunity to talk before, and you share a very beautiful journey with me. And I would like for the people who are watching us right now to know more about it. And we have a lot of things going on here that we are gonna go.
We will dive deep into
it.
Yes, we will.
Very beautiful and colorful
Yes.
Projects. So let's start. What inspired you to start architecture? And I think we can go over some of the things we have here too.
Definitely. So, like you mentioned, I am an artist, and all throughout grade school, that was my talent. That was my God-given gift. And up until the 11th grade, I was like, oh, I want to be an artist. I want to be a very famous artist. And for some reason, the combination of just, I don't know, being very project oriented, incorporating buildings into my paintings, or just my love for sports in particular, sports facilities such as arenas, ballpark, stadiums. And I just had this very keen, very intriguing interest in it. And I don't know, something just sparked me, and I just said, you know what, that's what I want to do. And so, it wasn't really like me choosing architecture, it was more so architecture choosing me. And then,
Nice.
Didn't know what I was signing up for, but definitely entering Florida International University and their architecture program definitely gave like me an insight into, that world. And yeah,
And so in your family, you didn't have anyone that studied art or
nobody,
architecture.
no
So
one.
it just came like that naturally.
God given.
That's a beautiful like way of saying, like sometimes people, like during high school, they don't really know what to do. And it's beautiful that you connected, your passion for stadiums and like that sparked that, like interest, like curiosity.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did you like during high school? Did you go to any like art classes, How was your involvement with art since a very young age?
So like I mentioned, all throughout grade school,
Yeah,
especially like middle and high school, I went to magnet art programs.
magnet programs. Okay.
Shout out to Southwood Middle School and Coral Reef High School. Definitely,
They
yeah,
help you to
yeah.
dive deeper
They
into.
dove. They allow me to dive deeper into my creativity. And then, like I said, when I went into the 11th grade, I guess it was just clear that this is the career path that I wanted to do. I mean, with art, you can take it in so many different avenues,
Yes, yeah.
even in the digital aspect.
Hmm.
But I said, you know what? I'm always going to have this talent in, art, but I felt like architecture was the career
The
path,
next step
the next step.
to enforce that talent.
Definitely.
And how was your transition to Florida International University? Because you have a very interesting story. So when you started, FIU was like how long? Like 10 years, 2015, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I graduated from high school in 2015, and then literally like that same year, that fall, that's when I started the program.
And how was that whole experience?
Long.
It was
Long.
long because it lasted like 10 years, right?
So
Around.
so just to be clear, just to put it out there, FIU has a accelerated master's
Yes.
program, and it's typically 5 to 6 years. So when I came in 2015, as long as it was going to be, I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going to take me. I don't know what the journey's going to be like, but I'm going to just stick with it, graduate in 5 years, and take
Be
off.
done, start
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, life definitely took me to a lot of detours. I thought it was gonna be a straight, narrow path, and then I was like, nope. God was like, nope. You're gonna go through a lot of
A hill, a mountain, a river crossing
everywhere, everywhere,
everywhere.
everywhere. But
Yeah, and what was your experience? Like what was the most difficult time during
well, I'll just
those
say that overall, I mean, the journey was definitely humbling.
mm,
I mean, again, um, I crossed paths with a lot of people, a lot of my peers, a lot of professors,
mm,
a lot of strangers that I encountered. Definitely got inspired by a lot of people and their own journey to why they wanted to pursue the career and like what inspired them and what they wanted to take with their career. And so everyone had their own journey, and I never knew that mine would be such a long one. But like you mentioned, I mean, I can go into it, but I definitely had a lot of obstacles, and there are moments where it made me question if maybe if this wasn't even the right field for me to begin with.
wow.
But yeah.
And what made you, like stay strong to your dreams in those moments? What how did you face those challenges?
Definitely my faith. I mean, as a Christian, I definitely believe that, I was put on this earth for a reason, and there was no part of me that wanted to give up. Um, like I said, it was supposed to be like a 5 to 6 year program, but ultimately it took me 9 years, and within those 9 years, I had to take a few breaks in between. I had to switch majors, and I had to, you know,
Yeah,
you know, do whatever I had to apply and come back and then just finish the remaining credits. I knew that if I started something, I had to
to
finish.
finish it.
And in this case, I started this journey, almost a decade ago. And I was like, it got to a point as difficult as it was. I was like, I don't care how long it takes me. I just want to get through that finish line. I want to get through that. I want to get over that hill. I want to and and so the fact that we've reached the level where I'm at, and I
Nice.
crossed that finish line. It definitely took some time, but I mean, it's definitely
It's worth it.
yeah,
And I think, I want to acknowledge you because some other people, like may have already, like give up. It's such a long time
yeah,
that I think what you had, that faith, is so important to have in those moments of uncertainty and that you don't know what to do. So I'm very glad that you finish those the FIU architecture, which is not easy, and that we have the opportunity now to talk more into your projects.
of course,
And which one? I know you love stadiums. So we're
I
gonna
do.
go about these ones here, the little model, very colorful. So when did you start making these models?
So, I did this during the pandemic back in 2020. It just so happens that I was not in architecture at the time. I
Okay.
had switched my majors due to some unforeseen circumstances.
Mm,
And so when I was in the process of coming back, I don't know, just looking at my why. I was looking at
mm,
why I got interested in the first place. And I mean, we can go with the whole spectrum of like just stadiums in general, but everyone that knows me knows that my favorite sport is basketball. And so what we have here are the arenas of the basketball teams.
nice.
And what I did was like I mentioned to you, I'm a pop artist, and with my art, I like to utilize bold colored aesthetics. And so when it comes to this right here, I remember just researching every arena for like the NBA teams, and then crazy me, I was like playing around with like, the form of it, and I was laser cutting, I was putting things
Nice.
together,
Yeah.
and then afterwards I was like, you know what? I'm already a painter. I already, have all the materials and stuff. So once I put these bad boys together, I was like, let me utilize the teams
Great.
of these NBA teams, and then just put it together. So like
For example,
um
like this one here.
yeah, this is actually the Delta Center
Oh my
in
God, you
Salt
know all
Lake.
of them
Yeah,
by
so
memory.
this is in Salt Lake City, Utah. This is where the Utah Jazz play. And I mean,
And what are the materials that you use? Because I know I see some wood here.
yeah. So these are all medium density fiberboard, but it's
Mm,
all woodwork.
mm,
And then after I put layers of woods together, I just utilize whatever pieces of paper that I have, and I just kind of glue it, just kind of wrap it around, and then just
yeah.
simply paint it.
Nice, nice. And how many did you did of these?
29. I mean, not all
29.
29 are present, but I did 29.
I think it was a good time during the pandemic to do some creative art.
Absolutely. I mean, again,
You really have fun then.
yeah, it was definitely a very fun experience. I mean, again, this was like not really a deciding factor, but this kind of reminded me of why I got
Yeah.
interested in the field to begin with. So just the fact that, I did this, and then a year later I came back into the program and then finished my
Nice.
degree.
Nice.
I
Nice.
kind of give credit to just my spark
Yes.
in the first
Yes.
place. So yeah.
So I know you're also an artist. So you have beautiful paintings also about basketball players. So also that has started like very like how long ago? You also have a mention in one of the Miami Heat's like magazines.
Oh, you want to go? You
Yes.
want to go there?
Yeah, yeah. You're famous in the
Ah,
basketball world, huh?
nah.
No, no,
I
you're not
mean,
there. Yeah,
soon,
yeah,
soon
but
to be,
soon with your
soon to
art.
be. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Uh, which direction do you want to go in? Like
The
just.
painting, like the painting aspect, like
So I've been painting pretty much my whole life, but I think I want to say 2017. So about like
yeah,
7 years ago was when I really started to like take it seriously. And what it was, is like again, like I mean, although I was in architecture, I was in
yeah.
school full time. Like I wanted to expand upon my
Hmm.
creativity, and I was one of those peoples that, if I, let's say I meet one of my favorite players, I don't just want to be just another fan. I don't just want to be another guy that's like, oh, hey, such and such, I'm a huge
Yeah,
fan. Can I take a picture? Can I take an autograph? And I felt like it was one of those things that as an artist, I wanted the athlete to remember what I did as a contribution to,
to their role,
their aura,
their
and then it was one of those things that I also use it as a marketing tactic, because then I started getting clients from other people like,
nice.
oh, hey, you met such and such.
I know
I would
you.
like, I would
Yeah.
like one for myself.
Mm.
So, I'll never forget, like the first person that I did it for wasn't even an athlete. It was Kevin Hart, out of all people.
What was that?
a
Okay.
comedian, very
Ah.
famous comedian. Yeah. So I did a art piece for Kevin Hart, and at the time my social media was like very private, but I just thought I don't know after doing a piece for him and then him liking it,
Oh, wow.
uh, I was just like I might be onto something. But I mean, since then, I mean, with my
And
art,
yes, no, and also you have painted two gyms already. No, one of the gym that requests you to do like a mural in their
yes.
walls. That
So
too
yes, so this was back in what 2021, so like about 3 years
during the
ago.
pandemic too.
Yeah, so it was
That
also kind of
yeah.
in the pandemic. So the power of I guess social media in general is that
Mm,
when people look at what you do and just the authenticity, it definitely created a lot of opportunities. And one of them that you mentioned was a good friend of mine who I went to middle school with, and he worked in a gym, and he was like, "Oh, I kind of want to like kind of like have like a mural that's can motivate people to come and get inspired and
get
whatever."
inspired. Yeah.
So yeah, within like 2 years, 2+ years, I did a mural of Muhammad Ali, and then I did one of a lion, and pretty much it just kind of create this fierceness, this
Hmm.
um
Yeah, when you go to the gym, you know you have to like
yeah,
give everything that you
exactly.
have.
Give it your all, give it
Yeah,
100.
yes,
So
nice.
but yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a start that I needed because, I mean, I painted, but I only painted like on like
On a small
canvas
that
or
yeah, the same happened to me. Like I like to paint as well, and sometimes you restrict yourself to such like a small area, and
right.
you need to you sometimes you need to go bigger.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
obviously with the right time and the right
Hmm.
connections, and so
Nice. So really, social media has helped you a lot to like grow your account and your exposure to other like other opportunities. So talking about basketball, you recently won a design award for a basketball a court in a shelter, in a homeless shelter.
yes.
That's very nice. So, how was the process? How do you knew about it? How was the selection process? How do you feel when you won? Yes.
Alrighty. So again, the power of social media. It was on Instagram. It was a contest, a design contest through Bam Adebayo,
Mm,
player for the Miami Heat. It was through his foundation. And so the contest was to create a design to renovate a local basketball court. And the design contest literally was to create a passing of the torch from Miami Heat legend Dwayne Wade
mm,
to Bam Adebayo, current Miami Heat star. And it was a way to kind of like honor their legacies while also protecting, not really protecting, but kind of just uh,
like
creating like
free.
a lasting impact for the
In
homeless
the
shelter.
homeless shelter, which is very nice.
Right, right. So, what I wanted to do is keep it simple. I mean, I saw a lot of people that submitted and it was pretty unique, but what I wanted to do was create a design that was very unique. It was simple, but it was
Like impactful, like
impactful, and it
yeah.
created a very unique
Hmm.
composition. And so what I did was, for people that are basketball fans or just fans of the Heat, in terms of the passing of the torch, I kind of utilize emojis. And so, if you look at the court, if you look at what I submitted, there's a flash bolt emoji,
Yeah, I saw it.
and
Yeah.
that's supposed to represent D Wade because his nickname was Flash.
Oh,
And
nice,
then on the
nice.
lower left hand corner, there's an emoji of like a pow, like a smack pow,
Yeah,
and that's the
yeah, I
emoji
saw it. Yeah.
that Bam is kind of synonymous for.
Mm.
And then in the middle was the fire
The
emoji,
yeah, yeah.
and fire emoji is to represent that passing of the torch, but it also represents the Heat, the franchise that they both play for. And then just overall with the hands, just like
Hmm.
okay, like I'm passing it down. Here you go. You carry the
Nice.
torch, and then I have like this little
Yeah, like the
angle road
angles.
projection,
Yes,
and
nice.
it's a simple just
Yeah.
projection of like D Wade, Dwayne Wade, He's already achieved so much in the franchise and in the community. And I feel like Bam, I mean, he's done a lot too, but he's not there yet. So it definitely is an angled projection. And I
Nice.
think overall, just again, utilizing that bold color aesthetics, the Heat, doesn't the Miami Heat, they have red and yellow. And then they also have uh, light blue and like
Yeah,
fuchsia. I kind of utilized those color aesthetics and again created a very unique
no, what
composition.
I
And
like about the composition is that everything is connected in a way. It has a strong concept
yeah.
to the player, to the area,
Mhm.
to like it's meaningful and it's simple. Like I think that's what made you want as well, like the concept and the simplicity of it.
Mhm.
And it was what was the like inauguration day? Could be like the day when everyone went. How long was ago?
So just to give you guys a timeline, I heard about the contest in September. I
Yeah,
probably only had a week to
to
come up with
design.
something and design
Nice.
and then
That was
put
great.
it together. Then I was told
Mm,
to enter, you had to submit a digital piece,
mm,
write a description of what it was about, and then I think tag the foundation, tag the players, and then the contest was literally called "In Your Court," so I had to use the hashtag "In Your
yeah.
Court." So once that happened, I think I waited about a few weeks, and then my design, along with other that had
Mm.
submitted, they were put into
Like
a
a
voting.
voting yeah, contest, that was
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
you had to
So
vote
on,
for.
I think it was sometime in like early October where
Hmm.
they they put on their story, okay, it's time for public voting. So not just for myself, but the few others that were submitted,
Yeah.
um people, followers, just had to select which one was their favorite. So let's just say that although I didn't feel like mine was the best, I simply utilized just my marketing
Strategies.
strategies. And I remember putting it on my
On your
story and just
story,
like just
and
putting the
everyone, yeah,
I was like,
voting.
"Hey guys, like vote for me, vote for my design."
Good, good.
And so I remember on the 7th of October, which I want to say was on a Monday, I was told that my design was a finalist,
Nice.
and I will be
Okay.
told on the 10th or the 11th,
Which was
whichever
like a
day.
Friday or
It was on a
something. On a
Thursday.
Thursday. And they told
Thursday.
you and they told you like
Well, yeah. So yeah, on Thursday, October the
uh-huh.
10th, they told me they were going to let me know of a
Yeah.
winner. But on the day before, on the 9th, I got a DM from the
James, you're the
foundation,
winner.
and they were like, "You won," and I was like,
Nice.
"What?" And then I'm like, "Okay." Like, I mean, it's one of those things that like,
What was your reaction? You couldn't be.
I was like, "What?" No, it
Nice,
was pretty unique.
nice, nice.
I really felt that it wouldn't hit me until I actually saw
You
it in
saw it,
person.
yeah, yeah.
Because in that moment, like you're trying to just stay cool, like okay, yeah, I won. But
And
but
when the day came that you saw the design,
well, so yeah, so I was told on
yeah,
October the 10th that okay, let's say what's next. Oh, your work here is done. We have an in-house design team that takes care of it, but you will be invited on the 24th of that same month to a ribbon cutting ceremony. And so, I showed up, and then to my not to my surprise, I knew Bam and D Way were gonna be there, but just again, just seeing them in person, seeing their reaction. I mean, the court wasn't fully completed at the time of the unveiling, but
yeah,
it still got the essence of what I was trying to capture. And so that marked a very unique and
nice,
surreal experience. Like that's that's
nice.
that's the
I will
yeah.
see you there in the future, like in the near future, designing cards all over the, the United
Yeah, and I
States.
mean, look, give the people that took my
Mm-hmm.
design and put it to life credit. I know it took a very long time and they couldn't get it done within the 2 week period, but I mean, look, they did a tremendous job, and yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I
That
told
opens the
myself
door
it opens the
for
door.
new
I
opportunities. Yeah.
once I end up seeing the final result, I took a deep moment just to like reflect and just take a deep breath. I'm like, okay. I did something very cool, and
Nice.
not just myself, but a lot of people, that follow and support me. They're like, "Oh, first of many," and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, the first
first
of
of many," and
many.
hopefully the
Yeah.
next one I get to actually be involved and actually like paint and
Painted yourself with
exactly.
nice,
And
nice,
on top
nice.
of that, because I did have a lot of people that told me, "Oh, this is very unique. I want to play ball in it," but unfortunately, this wasn't like a public court. This was
Hmm.
more so for the community. So going back to the whole passing of the torch, it's not just from one player to another, but it's from one generation to another.
To another one. Yeah.
So it definitely gives the residents of the shelter some hope. But yeah, overall, I mean, I would love to, design courts for the public and for the community. And I mean, we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And going back to school, so can you have next to you a very interesting model? I
Yeah.
would like to know what is it about.
So yeah,
You can take it and showcase it.
you want me to lift it up and
Yeah, of course.
oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I gotta be careful because
Okay, okay.
this model definitely
Or
was a
if
little.
bueno, yeah.
Can I just
Well, we can see. We can see. Yeah, yeah. We
can you
can
see?
see. Yeah, we can
Yeah,
see.
there's some moments where it's like, oh, it's not really um not camera appropriate, but yeah, so I did this project in I want to say in fall of 2022.
It's the comprehensive project, right?
Comprehensive
Comprehensive.
project,
Yeah.
yes. And so it's one of those semesters that a lot of people try to scare me because like, oh, it's a very hard semester, you're
Yeah,
gonna
no, everyone does that. I was very scared. No, because you need to do you will learn about structure,
yeah. And so
MEP,
yeah, I
detail. Bueno,
mean,
yeah, it's scary. It's scary in a real life. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, it definitely. I mean, not that it brought pressure, but I knew that with how many time, the amount of time
Yeah,
that I had,
yeah.
like I was given the program of designing an auditorium, which is pretty much like a community center that has like
Mm-hmm.
an indoor like swimming pool. And so, I mean, I took it upon myself to do something very unique because I think when we were doing precedent studies, I think the precedent that I chose was Zaha Hadid's
Mm.
Olympic Center, Aquatic Center
Yes,
in London.
yes, yes.
So I looked at it and it looks just like either an arena or like just a sports spectacle.
That's a
And
beautiful.
just overall,
Mm.
I just have to like emphasize this that when I design or what really inspires me in terms of like my favorite kind of architecture, I mean again, I love sports facilities, but when I design, I look at two things that I
Mm.
focus in my whole design intent. It's something that has a centralized organization and radial circulation. So in this instance, the centralized organization having the main program in the center, which in this case would be the pool,
Mm.
and then just pretty much having all the secondary,
The
surrounding
program,
programs
the
surrounding
program
it.
surrounding
Yes.
the pool.
So
Nice.
in this, I guess you can call it a wall section. I mean, it had a roof, and then it,
For some reason,
yeah.
disappear.
But what I wanted to focus on, and this is the one thing that's very common in a lot of sports facilities
Yeah.
that I wanted to depict, is just the circulation that surrounds, the pool, and then some seating.
So the seating is washing like the pool. It's like
Yeah,
an
so
Olympic pool, like a
y-
recreation, an Olympic pool.
it's an Olympic pool. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't remember the exact size, but I had to be Olympic size, and so it had 3 levels, and so I only made it where, like, the 2nd level is where the seating is, so,
Yeah.
the pool was pretty much used for recreational
Mm-hmm.
use, well, that was the design intent, but say if there were, like, competitions, you had seating on all 4 quadrants,
Yeah.
and so in this, wall section, I wanted to depict, in one of the quadrants, and then I also went ahead and I was like, "You know what? I know a lot of my favorite sports facilities, they don't just have the seating, but they have, they have, like, these escalators that, like,
Yeah.
kinda move up to the concourse.
Yeah.
So we have one here, you have one here, and then just overall, I mean, like, it kinda seems like it's, like, free floating, like, the beam I mean, the floor slab, but you also have, like, these railings, and So I just
No,
wanted
yeah,
I just wanted to depict that, and
mm,
then obviously like on the ground level, there's like some you know like some amenities where you can actually like look out and like
nice.
the black is the pool.
The pool. No, I can
So
see. I like it because that section shows, like, uh, the different views that you can have when you are in the third level, in the second level. So it's very accessible visibly. You can see everything happening, and I would love to see this project actually. Like, the model.
I
So
do too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do too.
And the windows, I see it has like a very long window, so a lot of light.
Lot of ventilation,
Yeah,
but to be fair, I mean you have to see the actual renders.
yeah.
Like this side is actually facing the east, and so
Hmm.
the project itself
Oh.
is
Hmm.
actually I think the site was in Little Haiti,
Oh,
and
okay,
this side
nice.
was face east. So the goal was I don't want to turn around, but pretty much the goal was like it was right adjacent to the Brightline train station.
Yes.
So pretty much essentially, people that are looking or they're getting off the train station, like, oh, what is this? It kind of gives it like a facade or like like
Nice. Something
something
appealing,
attractive, appealing.
something interesting to look at that is not the regular houses that we see, or
Of course,
like
of
white
course, of
houses that we
course.
see all around Miami.
Of course. And since, we live in Miami, I mean, again, I mentioned about myself loving basketball. I
Yeah.
mean, when it came to what appealed me to became interested in architecture, I'm a diehard Miami Heat fan, and the arena that they play at, Kaseya Center, formerly known as American Airlines
Hmm.
Arena, this kind of gave me that vibe because it was one of the first major buildings that I looked at. I'm like, this is different. It's not like your
Yes.
typical, you
Like
know,
design that you
yeah,
have
and I just
in
love
the.
everything about it. Its
Mm,
its appeal, its look, and so not that I utilize or mimic certain of those details, but it's like if
hmm.
you're outside or inside, you have a view towards the outside. You're not really giving much direct ventilation into the space because in my renders I kind of show that on this side it's like
Hmm.
tinted in terms of the glass,
Yes.
but still it gives you this like inside outside
No,
kind
I
of
think you have
feel
a
and it
relationship between
yes.
both the interior and the exterior.
Right. And again,
So,
overall, that's what I see in a lot of sports
mm,
facilities, especially the ones that have just been,
nice.
designed and built. So, I mean, that was something that I tried to pick. And, I mean, it was a very, again, with that particular semester, it was very tough, very, challenging because it was literally the only semester where I literally had to put an actual building, you know,
Together, yeah.
together with all the structural components and everything. But I mean, it was worth it. I tried. I mean,
You did a great job.
I tried. Yeah.
I think everyone tried in that class.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're working right now, right? So did you had any experience while in school with architecture?
No.
So
Very
just
little.
fully focus on
Yeah.
finishing school. And how was your transition from school to the real life? What were the well, your face says it all.
I mean, I don't even know if it was a transition. I just had a lot to adjust. I mean, for what I'm doing right now, I mean, I don't want to go too in depth because I'm only a few
Yeah.
months in, but I'm definitely getting a side of, well, definitely the business side of the
Hmm.
field. But I'm also like just noticing how technical every attention to
Everything is,
detail
yeah.
is. And I thought I worked hard when I was in school. No, people in my office right now they work very hard, and they're definitely a tap on the shoulder away. It's like, hey, I need help, or hey, can you explain this? And they're very nice, and I definitely want to like be able to grow and eventually, get to a point where eventually I'm the one that's like either making the decisions or calling the shots. To be like, okay, if I'm end up my ultimate goal, I want to be able to do sports
Sport
facilities,
facilities,
whether
yeah.
I'm the designer, the architect, or whatever. But just for now, I'm just getting great toolage. I'm getting experience, and like just thanks for everyone that's just overall is just like helping me guiding in as a future architect or
Yes,
aspiring architect.
aspiring architect, because
Aspiring
yeah, you
architect.
cannot call yourself an architect
No,
yet.
no, not yet, not yet, not yet.
A designer.
Just yeah, we'll go
So
with designer. Yeah,
designer
yeah,
is cooler, I
yeah.
think. And so, what are your future plans from here to 5 years? How do you see yourself?
God willing. So I mean, again, like I'm in the field now,
Hmm.
like I'm getting experience, but I definitely want to continue expanding on my creativity. I mean, my creativity, I don't just want to limit it to just drawing, painting, creating these very unique models. I mean, look, I did a court, so
Yes.
who knows what other
Things you
things I
have.
have in
Yeah.
store. Like I have a list of things that I want to do, but like, like I'm trying to manifest it.
Hmm.
Or not only just manifest it, just,
Organizing.
right place,
Organizing
right
yourself. Yeah.
time, right opportunity, and see where it goes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the questions is what's your favorite project? What's your-
Favorite project.
Yes, yes.
So this was one of my favorite projects at the time. And then I had my thesis.
Which was your favorite
My
top of
absolute favorite.
because you had the opportunity to design
Well,
a,
initially it was supposed to be a stadium,
a
but it ended up
stadium.
becoming a sports
Yes, a
center.
sports center.
But overall, it became my favorite project because it pretty much was like a full circle moment. For me, everyone that knows me knows that I, again, love sports, and I thought it's a thesis. So when I look at the journey and what maybe want to study architecture, from, high school, I came into 2015. I went through a
Hmm.
long battle. I went through a lot of obstacles, came back, and I was like, to end this journey on a high note, when given the opportunity, I wanted to do something that I really wanted to, have fun with. And so I eventually did a sports center, but it was kind of like a high rise. In fact, if you look behind you, this
Yeah,
is
this is the
actually
model that
this is
you did
actually
for
like
me.
a 3D printed model of
Yes.
the formation of it. So I call it a stadium tower, but only because like everyone that had the site in my class, they did your typical high
Hmm.
rise of affordable housing. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you see that a lot in Miami, but you don't see like a sports center.
Like a
Like you
sports
see
center.
stadiums, you see a few, sports facilities, but you don't see a sports center. So essentially what I wanted to propose is something that can be used recreationally, but also have commercial amenities too. And so I did I mean, the main program was pretty much, I had like these 4 basketball courts, and those 4 basketball courts can theoretically transform into different playing fields.
Hmm.
But I also wanted to go crazy with it. I said, you know what? Similar to this model, this project, I wanted to imagine if there were like events happening, like major competitions. So, you have the playing field in the middle, you have like
Okay.
seating on all 4 sides. Again, this is just like a prototype of what the formation of the model looks like,
Yes.
but yeah, and then so this tower aspect is supposed to be residential, and I say residential because people that are utilizing the space can actually rent out units.
Nice.
So
Which is very like handy for like sports like players to be in the same place where they are going
players,
to
people who
uh
like will
yeah,
organize the
organize
events,
events.
right?
Yeah.
And then this part is like a mini tower, but I also utilized some commercial
Nice.
amenities, and the biggest commercial amenity that I would use was a sports museum. And the
Mm.
museum essentially is for not just fans, but people in general who love Miami sports or just sports in general. Can I look at their favorite team, look at different gallery spaces, and just admire just the history and just teams
Yeah.
in general. I also looked at it as another full circle moment because and I had a few renders that like showcased different like gallery.
Yes. And actually, I'm gonna ask you something. Is there in Miami like a sport museum? Because
No,
no, right?
no,
So we need that.
we do.
We actually need
We
that.
do, and it's crazy that when I presented my final, because we
Yeah.
presented at a firm, I think 1 or 2 jurors mentioned that, oh, we need something like this.
I
So
have
I was just
like
like,
I got a good a good point there.
yeah, but yeah,
Nice, nice, nice. So we have it here in our collection.
of course, yeah.
And That's so interesting that you started with a passion since very little, watching, like seeing a sport centers building, and that your your last project at FIU is actually designing that, and seeing all these beautiful little models is like you say, like God given or some, yeah.
Yeah,
So these are more like personal questions.
of course.
What's the one sport you never miss watching? Oh well, I know basketball, but what's the second one?
So, I mean, now it's football. It used to be baseball.
Oh, baseball. Okay,
Used to be baseball.
used to be
But now,
baseball.
I mean, again, besides, again, it all depends on the team that I'm rooting for and
Yeah.
just the interest level.
Uh huh.
So I won't get into, you know,
No, we
current
can.
situation with the football team currently, but uh,
American football, right?
American football,
Okay. Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay. Second question: if you were not an architect, what would you be?
If I wasn't,
If you, yeah,
or
exactly.
if I wasn't,
If you were not like if you were not to graduate architecture, imagine like
like
what's something
like what would I major in, or what would
yeah,
I?
what would be your other passion, or what would you be doing if you know
Well,
architecture?
again, like not that I had a backup, but if I was going to do something creative, it had to be in the creative field. So if it wasn't architecture, it would be graphic design.
Graphic design,
Yeah.
nice.
So besides from just my interest in sports facilities, I also had an interest in logo designing. Like I mean, I
Mm,
was that dude in school. I was like drawing all these logos and like all these like graphics and all these, marketing things. So I would have definitely done some
something
kind of
about
something
graphic
within
design.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But well, you can still do it with all, like all these kind of like venture, maybe
Could be.
somehow
Could be. Yeah.
into graphic design. I think
Yeah.
as we graduate architecture and we end up with so many tools in our, in our side that
Yeah,
is great.
definitely.
Um, so if you could redesign any famous landmark, which one would be?
If I can what?
Redesign any landmark or building.
All right. The Hard Rock Stadium
Mm-hmm.
in Miami Gardens.
Yeah.
I realized that they did a lot of renovation in terms of
Hmm.
the big canopy roof
Yes.
that they did prior to the 2020 Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, in my honest opinion, because there's still a lot of the old history of that stadium and its like footprint, its
Mm-hmm.
design, I feel like if I had the opportunity to design another stadium for the Dolphins, it could be in the
In the same
same
place, in the
area
same
or in a
area.
different place altogether. That'd be pretty unique. Um, I could also say the same for the Heat's arena, but I feel like where it's at, its typology, its direct connection to the bay, it's very unique where it's at. I don't think it really needs much
Would
improving.
you add something like to make it better? Do you think?
There's potential. I mean, I think the best facilities that I've seen that definitely had a renovation towards it. It definitely like connects with the city more in terms of the urban fabric, the
Mm,
urban.
so they engage more
Yeah.
the the community or the surroundings into
Yes.
the. Okay,
Yes.
great,
So
great,
yeah.
great. Okay, one last question.
Hmm.
What's your favorite way to relax after a long day?
Well, it depends. I mean, these days it's going working out at the gym.
Okay.
And that says a lot because I mean my schedule is busy. Like some people ask me, how do you have time for this? Because I have multiple jobs. Like I have a main job, I have a side job, I have my art hustle, and so when after a long day, like I would love to just go home and just relax, chill, watch some TV or whatever, or watch some games. But I feel like, health is wealth, and to get myself in a better shape physically, mentally, and,
Yes.
and even spiritually, I feel like going to gym definitely,
Helps a lot
helps me a
with
lot. Yeah.
that. That's really
So,
important to keep. And more like our career is
yeah.
you sit on a chair most of the time, so having that balance
Yeah.
between going to work, also
Yeah.
exercising.
And I mean,
it helps
stretching
you.
too,
Yeah.
because again, you're sitting in front of a
Yes,
computer.
stretching.
So if you just
Yeah.
stand up and just, stretch your back, stretch
Yeah.
your different areas,
No, I always
so
I'm drinking water a lot, so I
yeah,
take those moments to
yeah.
like walk up the stairs, walk down the stairs,
Hmm.
and yeah. So it's very important, and I think you're doing great. I'm
I
very
think so too. I mean,
yes, yeah. You have accomplished a lot in
yeah.
all this time, so I'm very grateful for you, and I think the people that knows you are also very grateful about your journey. So thank you so much, Ephraim James, to be here with us, and
Thank you.
thank you, this wonderful public, to watching us. And next, see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much for listening to the Framing the Future podcast. Your 5-star reviews really help us continue what we do. Please rate your listening experience, and let's keep building this beautiful community together. For exclusive access to more design content, visit thearchitecturalauthority.com or download our app from the App Store or Google Play. Until next time, stay creative.